We like to think artificial intelligence is something new, something modern, futuristic, even dangerous. But 2,000 years ago, humans already believed they had built thinking machines. Machines that moved by themselves, spoke through the voice of gods, and made decisions no human dared to make. They called it divine power. Today, we call it automation. But maybe, just maybe, they were the same thing all along. This is the story of the world's first AI, an intelligence powered not by code, but by faith, steam, and genius, the age when machines had souls. Around 60 AD, a man in Alexandria, one of the last great engineers of the ancient world, was quietly rewriting the limits of what a machine could be. His name was Hero of Alexandria. He built what seemed like miracles: doors that opened on their own when fire was lit, fountains that poured wine, statues that moved, sang, and even decided. But none of it was magic. Hero used air pressure, heat, gravity, and water to create sequences of motion, the first mechanical logic. In a way, he wrote the world's first algorithm. His temples became theaters of science, and his inventions, acts of worship. To the priests, it was the will of the gods. To Hero, it was engineering. Hero wasn't alone. For centuries, Greeks, Egyptians, and Persians experimented with what they called automata, self-moving objects. Bronze birds that sang, silver lions that breathed fire, water organs that played themselves. They saw no difference between mechanics and magic. And maybe they were right, because to them, these machines weren't lifeless. They were vessels, channels through which gods could act. One priest described it like this: "We give the statue form. The divine gives it purpose." They weren't just building toys, they were building avatars. One of Hero's inventions allowed a statue to choose. Worshippers would light a flame in front of the altar. If the gods accepted their offering, the doors would open. If not, they stayed shut. It was pure physics. Pressure from the heated air triggered a mechanism. But to the believers, the decision was divine. Think about that. A machine interpreting human intention, deciding yes or no, controlling access to a sacred space. 2,000 years later, we do the same thing with algorithms, except now the temple is your phone. Your flame is your data. When the Roman Empire fell, the machines of Hero fell with it. The world turned its back on logic and turned toward faith. In the early Middle Ages, any device that moved without touch was seen as witchcraft. The blueprints of ancient automata were burned. Engineers were silenced, not by war, but by fear, because once again, humans felt they had crossed a line, that building life was playing God. The same fear we whisper today when we talk about artificial intelligence was well. 15 centuries later, the spark reignited. Leonardo da Vinci, obsessed with movement, studied ancient texts, and rebuilt the miracle: a fully mechanical knight that could walk, sit, and raise its arms. It wasn't just an invention, it was a resurrection, the rebirth of Hero's dream. But Leonardo didn't call it divine, he called it curiosity. And that difference between faith and curiosity is what separates the ancient engineers from us. They built machines to serve gods. We build machines to become them. When people fear AI today, it's not because machines think, it's because they reflect. They show us our own obsession with control, perfection, and power, the same obsessions that built temples of steam 2 millennia ago. Hero believed the divine could flow through his inventions, but maybe what really flowed through them was us. Every age builds its gods. The Greeks built them from bronze. We build them from silicon. But the dream is the same: to make something that thinks like us, feels like us, and maybe, one day, replaces us. The first AI wasn't born in a lab. It was forged in fire and faith by men who thought they were building gods. The first AI, when machines had souls,